on halftime report. It's halfway through the trading session and there's only the Adani Group stocks that one has to be speaking of. And that's primarily because the way the frontline indices are moving, both the Nifty as well as the Sensex, are intertwined with the way the Adani Group stocks are moving. Just pull up the intraday chart of the Adani End stock. For instance, it at one point was down around 35% has recovered from there. And that move coincides with the way that we've seen the frontline indices move as well. So sentiment continues to remain glued to what happens to that group. And the mid-cap index is facing a fair amount of weakness. 4 stocks lower for every stock that's advancing. It's underperforming. I mean, no one's looking at the frontline index right now.
Absolutely, Mangalam. Well, it is only about a set of stocks which have really dominated sentiment. And at this point in time, the market really is wondering what the collateral damage could be with regards to the wealth destruction that you've seen with the Adani group of stocks. That is something that we will be discussing over the next 1 hour. But as of now, let's kick off the show with Ujjivan Small Finance Bank. They reported what was a good set of Q3 numbers. The stress has been reduced in terms of asset quality on a Q-on-Q basis. We have with us Mr. Divi, who's the MD and CEO of Ujjivan Small Finance Bank. Thank you, sir, for joining into this conversation. If you could just start by, in fact, talking about the asset quality, where the stress has reduced on a Q-on-Q basis. In fact, your gross NPA ratio has come in at around 3.64% versus 5.06%. Can you tell us whether you are probably going to see this kind of asset quality going into Q4 as well as in FY24?
Hi, good afternoon. It's good to be with CNBC. Yeah, I think, we have seen the credit quality improving post-COVID on a quarter-to-quarter basis. And that is something that we believe will continue in the fourth quarter, as well as to the next financial year. I'm assuming that the economy and the rest of everything, the recovery continues. So when that is happening, this is going to continue. We will see further reduction in the GNPA from the current levels gradually. And things should stabilize. Our, bad loan portfolio or the NPAs should start coming down towards the pre-COVID levels as we get into the next financial year.
All right. If you could quantify that level, Mr. Davis, and at the same time, what the street is really worried about is this consistent 150, 160 crore sort of write-off that you've been doing over the last 8 quarters. In fact, cumulative write-off of almost 1,260 odd crores. Is there no effort made for recovery? Just trying to understand if there's a way you can reduce the write-off amount per quarter. How much of your restructured book can actually turn bad or, be needed to be written off?
No, the restructured book is actually doing quite well. So, recoveries from that has been above the general market levels. But the write-off is based upon, where loans have not been performing for 6 months or more. We have a set criteria and we apply that, and then that's the basis of the write-off. Now, having said that, we are seeing recoveries from the written off loans. It's not that we write them off and forget about them. We are very much pursuing these. And this year, so far, about 90 crores has been collected from these loans. So, and we expect to end the year with about 120 to 125 or thereabouts. And that will continue. Now, obviously, as it gets longer stretched, it's going to get more difficult to collect. So we expect some further collection in the next financial year. But after that, it's going to get difficult. But I think overall, a 10% recovery on these loans is a good number.
And the GNPA you said would stabilize at what?
GNPA will continue to come down by a percentage or 2 in the next couple of quarters. And thereafter, it should stabilize at those levels. Okay.
All right. Well, you seem to be quite confident in terms of asset quality. I just wanted to touch upon your disbursements. One of your strongest points in terms of disbursements has been MFI. That's in fact constitutes a large part of your book. Can you just tell us what it would be in terms of incremental disbursements going into Q4 as well as FY24? Would MFI still be dominant? And would the bank look to diversify in terms of disbursements as well?
Yeah, that's a good question because, the MFI book has come back faster than the other books post-COVID. And I think that is the segment which is more able to come back, and that's what we did. So in fact, you're right when you say that the bulk of the disbursement is there. We started the financial year with about 67-68% of our book in microbanking. That has gone up a little bit towards 71%. It may go up 1 or 2 more percent before the end of the year, end of this financial year. But in the next financial year, we are going to be seeing the secured parts of our business growing a little faster. And then the turnaround will come. And our plan, as we have said before, and which we stick to, is over a period of the next 4 to 5 years to bring the secured and unsecured book on a balanced 50-50 basis. So the housing, the affordable housing, the micro and small enterprises, the gold loan, and the vehicle finance businesses will grow much faster in the next financial year and beyond. And through that process, we'll become more stable in terms of a 50-50 mix between secured and unsecured. That is our eventual objective.
Okay. So, I just had a larger question. Going into FY24, brokerages have said that FY23 could actually be one of the best years in terms of performance for you all, a bumper quarter. But going into FY24, do you think this performance that you are seeing in FY23 is in fact sustainable?
No, that is what you need to look at is the pre-provision operating profit, because the provisions and the recoveries below that have helped us. But if you look at the PPOP, I think we will be seeing some good traction. We have built the business. The volumes are good. The net interest margins are also good, although down a little bit this quarter. But, we are all set to see another good year in 2024.
Right. And the owners will be the same of the company, right? Because there was word that maybe you guys are looking for some larger buyers, etc. Is that correct?
I'm not sure where that story came from, but all I can say is that we are in the process of a reverse merger. The holding company will be merged into the bank.
Yes.
We recently got the RBI approval. We are waiting for SEBI approval, and then we move to the NCLT. And once that happens, the shareholders of the holding company will become shareholders of the bank. But beyond that, I don't have any other information or any other knowledge of any other things which are going on.
When will the reverse merger be completed? When do you expect the approvals to come through by?
We are targeting and we are hoping that it will be completed by September. So the second quarter of the next financial year.
All right, take that point. Thanks a lot, Mr. Davis, for joining in, giving us those views. As far as the business is concerned going forward, we will await the reverse merger in September itself. Take a short break, come back, we'll get chatting with Sunil D'Souza, who's the MD and CEO of Tata Consumer Products. The stock at the low point of trade. The conversation comes ahead of their conference call. Tuned in.
The biggest budget exclusive. FM's first post-budget interview to a private news network. What does the budget mean for the investor, the consumer, the taxpayer, the economy? FM Nirmala Sitharaman speaks to Network 18 Editor-in-Chief Rahul Joshi. The FM interview, live and exclusive.
टेंशन किस बात की? सेंचुरी MDF का लो एमिशन प्रीमियम प्लस है ना, हायर डेंसिटी है, वाटर रेजिस्टेंट भी है, यानी ये है जहां नो टेंशन वहां.
Low emission premium plus by Century ProWood.
Yeah, Ajay, look at your dad. Will we be the same at his age?
Absolutely yes, if we plan our future like him.
How?
My father had invested in LIC's Ujjivan, which gives immediate and guaranteed annuity at regular intervals, that too for life.
Wow. But do we have to wait until his age?
Absolutely not. We recently invested in LIC's new Ujjivan Shanti, which gives deferred annuity, which means regular income after some years.
I see.
LIC!
LIC's annuity plans give 10 annuity options and flexibility in receiving regular income. LIC, हर पल आपके साथ.
अपने घर और कमर्शियल स्पेसेस को बनाइए अल्ट्रा मॉडर्न, इनोवेटिव, इको-फ्रेंडली with quick installation. All this at the one-stop destination. Europatik.
चाहे खरीदना हो अपना घर या हो रिटायरमेंट के लिए फाइनेंशियल प्लानिंग, मुझे फ्यूचर की कोई चिंता नहीं, क्योंकि मेरे पीछे एसएमसी है।
SMC, money wise, be wise.
Investment in securities market are subject to market risks. Read all the related documents carefully before investing.
The biggest budget exclusive. FM's first post-budget interview to a private news network. What does the budget mean for the investor, the consumer, the taxpayer, the economy? FM Nirmala Sitharaman speaks to Network 18 Editor-in-Chief Rahul Joshi. The FM interview, live and exclusive.
When timeless European design meets cutting-edge technology, it's QO. QO, European Bath Lounges.
अरे पिटिए का ना टॉपर बेटा, तुम हम पे तो बिल्कुल नहीं गए।
प्रणाम बहन जी।
हमें ये एहसास है कि कुछ लोग हमें क्या समझते हैं। इस कॉलेज का सबसे अहम अंग्रेजी शब्द टॉपर किसके पास है? एक बात याद रखना, तुम्हारी पहचान सिर्फ तुम लिख सकते हो, बाकी सबके लिए तो पापा ने प्लान कर ही लिया है।
अपनों को इंश्योर करने के साथ उन्हें अपनी पहचान की ताकत का एहसास दिलाएं। HDFC लाइफ, सर उठा के जियो।
When it comes to making your drive electric, never settle for the ordinary. Go EV with India's #1 EV, Nexon EV. Proven and trusted by over 40,000 customers. Feature loaded and safe, offering a premium driving experience. Now with enhanced range and an exciting new price. Nexon EV. Drive what drove India electric.
In our profession, it is common to be asked whether we're at the top or the bottom, will markets rise or fall? And the real answer always is it depends. If you look at the long range past, we are close to the top. And if you look at the long range future, we are close to the bottom. Just as in life, so it is in the markets. There's no top or bottom. There's no good or bad. There's no left or right. There's no right or wrong. There's only context and perspective. So why wait for black or white? The art is to learn to relax in the gray. While investing, you need not choose equity or debt. Markets are dynamic, and so must your mutual fund be. Choose grey, invest in White Oak Capital Balanced Advantage Fund.
Mutual fund investments are subject to market risk. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.
Welcome back. Well, it is turning out to be a session where at least the mid-caps are seeing pressure and the Nifty is managing to hold up in the green. But on a week-to-date basis, you'd have to say that there is a bit of a divergence in terms of performance when it comes to the Nifty and the Sensex, and that is courtesy probably the Adani stocks. So you can see that the Nifty has risen marginally on a week-to-date basis. The Sensex has managed to outperform. But one of the indices which has stood out is the Nifty IT index, which has really come back into flavor. So up around 2.5% on a week-to-date basis. The mid-cap index, as you can see, has been under pressure, down around 0.7%. But the other big key cue to watch out for is the collateral damage from the Adani stocks, what the banks would do going forward. And in that context, State Bank of India and Bank of Baroda, which are releasing their Q3 FY23 numbers today, that will become very relevant in terms of commentary with regards to that. So that is something that the street would be watching out for quite closely. Separately, a lot of other numbers today, ITC, Divis to name a few, and a couple of these interesting broader market stocks such as Interglobe Aviation, which will be releasing numbers, Sun TV, Manappuram Finance, Marico. So all of these companies will be releasing numbers. So a lot of action within the broader markets as well as in the frontline indices. But Mangalam, you're watching more of the FMCG space.
More of the FMCG space. You just spoke about a lot of numbers that will come out today. I'm talking about some numbers that came out yesterday. And from the Nifty pack, we had Tata Consumer reporting their numbers. Well, they were largely in line with expectations, but weakness in their international business still continues despite some sequential improvement. And that's exactly the question that I posed to Sunil D'Souza. And he said that, going forward, the international business will improve and the margins will perhaps be the leading margins for the overall industry by the next 2 to 3 quarters. Let's hear out the conversation with Sunil D'Souza himself.
Coming specifically to the international business,
Number one is I think we've seen a perfect storm of sorts. Overall, the huge environmental volatility in the macro environment, inflation peaking or very near multi-year highs both in the US and in the UK. Currencies moving in all directions, and that impacts us a lot because, for example, tea we buy in dollars, sell in pounds, and then report in rupees, right? So you can imagine there's both transaction and translation. And apart from that, demand sluggishness. As people have taken pricing, the consumers have started tempering down their demand. So in the face of this, we've taken some strategic actions, so to speak. In the US, we're doing a pack price rejig. So US, you would have seen overall volume softer, but revenues on track. I mean, broadly flat versus a year ago. And in the UK, effective 1st of February, we've taken a very aggressive price increase, which has already gone into play. So yes, sequentially, the international business has improved. EBIT has moved up by about 240 bips, but we do expect that trajectory to come back. The international business was always incremental or accretive to our total portfolio, higher EBIT margins than the India business, and we aim to put it there over a period of at least 2 quarters.
All right, we take that point. And on India business itself, you said that the India beverages business was rather soft, but a large part of that can also be attributed to the delayed winter. Now in the fourth quarter, winter has spilled over. Can we expect some growth out there? You've lost about 110 basis points market share in tea business as well. How long before you claw that back?
So Mangalam, you're absolutely right. Essentially, the way our business is geographically structured, right? So the softness in rural and the delayed winter, I think both played a role in the volume softness and therefore the market share softness. We do have corrective actions in place on distribution, which have already gone into place. So that will get corrected. Hopefully, we will improve distribution still further from where we are. And the winter setting in, I think middle of December onwards is when we started seeing the serious winter come in. So I'm just hoping now, very early days, but I'm hoping we've bottomed out in terms of growth, volume growth, industry volume growth overall in the last quarter. December was decent. January was better than December. But I would still say I would watch this quarter before we say we're totally out of the woods. That said, I think especially on the volume piece, we do aim to turn the corner in this quarter. But coming back to our rightful place, if I may, in terms of both share as well as margins, I would probably say one more quarter.
All right. And let's talk about the parts of your business which are doing extremely well now. Narishco, 66% growth, of course, comes on a low base as well. But it has been increasing because of the things that you're doing in your business. So can we expect 1,000 crore sort of run rate coming in from Narishco in FY24? Is that realistic?
So Mangalam, you've stolen my thunder. This is exactly the target that I've put out to my Narishco team. Okay. Right? Just as a perspective, Narishco, when we bought it in May of 2020, it was 180 crores. This year, we will be touching close to 600 crores, both with expansion of geography and portfolio. So Narishco is on a strong wicket, and we continue to remain bullish about that business.
I'll try not to steal your thunder on the food business, so I'd ask you to tell us what your target for the food business in FY24 is.
So the food business right now, as you've seen, Mangalam, despite all the volatility that is there, despite the fact we've taken a 33% price increase in salt, given the input cost increases, we've continued to gain share, 90 bips. We've continued to show volume growth and significant revenue growth. On top of that, the Sampann business only is, I would say, the icing on the cake. The India growth businesses, Sampann is part of that. Sampann has grown 37% last quarter. This is the second quarter, clocking upwards of 30% growth. Margins in a healthy space and continuing to improve. The India growth portfolio overall for us, when we started in FY20, was about 6%. It is now up to 13%, and we continue to aim to increase that proportion going forward. In fact, if I may, we started primarily as a tea and salt company, primarily tea and a little bit of salt. So it was a 60-40 ratio when we started our journey.
Right now, we're inching towards a 50-50 food and beverage mix.
All right. And final question before we let you go. Mr. D'Souza, the word on Bisleri. I mean, everyone's been talking about it. The management said that you guys were in talks. I won't, ask you to explain the rationale, or whether it is happening, etc. or not. But just as a part of the Tata consumer portfolio, would it really make sense to get a brand like Bisleri or any other water brand, and in this category itself where, there is a fair amount of competition, margins may get diluted? Your thoughts on the same?
So Mangalam, I'll not want to get into the details of the space, but like I said, we're targeting to grow both organically and inorganically. I think we've proven we can grow organically. Like I just mentioned, our growth businesses have moved from 6% of our portfolio to 13%. And we are very, very confident that we will continue to move this north. But inorganic is also a big piece of our game plan. And in the inorganic piece as well, we've very, very clearly identified the categories in which we want to expand, what we cannot do ourselves or we cannot do quickly enough. And therefore, we're looking at inorganic spaces. Ready to drink is an important play for us because we do think there is a huge growth opportunity ahead in India. And I would just leave it as any business that we look at for inorganic growth. We look at value creation, which inherently means margins and returns better than what we have on our existing businesses.
All right, finally, makes sense then. And you said 15% margins is your short to medium term target. Is that on the cards in FY24? And do we expect, say, double digit or low teens sort of growth there?
So Mangalam, we will continue to target double-digit revenue growth and margins ahead of where we started off as a company.
Okay, so that's the word coming in from Tata Consumer Products. We need to take a short break, but on the other side, we'll be connecting with Harsh of India Grid Trust to discuss the impact of Budget 2023 on REIT and InVIT. Stay tuned.
Bali, here I come. Beda, check the weather in Bali. Passport? Where is my passport?
Today 23 degrees, tomorrow 24.
Not today or tomorrow, after 3 months. Khanna uncle is taking all of us to Bali. He has got some solid investment tip. Doubles the money in 3 months.
Let me guess. He's received some kind of hot SMS tip, right?
Correct. How did you know?
I receive such SMSs all the time.
Acha?
If these SMSs were reliable, we'd be on a world tour every 6 months, na? Papa, relying on anonymous SMS tip? Be prepared to take a dip.
So this won't be used at all?
Oh.
सोच कर, समझ कर, invest कर.
आग को फैलने से रोकना मुश्किल है, पर नामुमकिन नहीं। अब फायरवॉल टेक्नोलॉजी के साथ सेंचुरी प्लाई क्लब प्राइम आग से बचाए।
रेणु, लोन हो गया। बस अब सिर्फ मार्जिन अमाउंट का सवाल है।
यूनियन बैंक से गोल्ड लोन लेकर होम लोन के मार्जिन अमाउंट का पेमेंट कर सकते हैं हम।
एक मिनट, तुम्हें कैसे पता? मैं यूनियन बैंक से ही होम लोन ले रहा हूँ।
पापा, हम अपने नए घर में कैसे रहेंगे?
अपनी नई कार में।
और ये कार लोन भी यूनियन बैंक ऑफ इंडिया से?
हाँ, अब घर और कार का सुनहरा सपना साकार।
यूनियन बैंक ऑफ इंडिया, अच्छे लोग, अच्छा बैंक।
Suresh.
Yes, brother.
Please take care of it, huh?
Sure, I'll do it.
Really? You're concerned for it even if you're going to the village for just 2 days. But you never think about us this way.
Everything will be fine. My Rickshaw Union Group has taken LIC's Group Micro-Term Assurance Plan.
Papa.
Wow! Now, no matter what, my family will keep moving forward.
Get LIC's Group Micro-Term Assurance Plan. Keep your family secure.
When timeless European design meets cutting-edge technology, it's QO. QO, European Bath Lounges.
The biggest budget exclusive. FM's first post-budget interview to a private news network. What does the budget mean for the investor, the consumer, the taxpayer, the economy? FM Nirmala Sitharaman speaks to Network 18 Editor-in-Chief Rahul Joshi. The FM interview, live and exclusive.
Co-presented by LIC, Har Pal Aapke Saath. Driven by XUV 400, we fun, we fast, we electric. Co-powered by Panasonic, create today, enrich tomorrow. In association with Bandhan Bank, Aapka Bhala, Sabki Bhalai. Knowledge partner, Grant Thornton Bharat.
रिफॉर्म परफॉर्म ट्रांसफॉर्म से ग्रेट परफॉर्मेंस की कहानी लिख रहे उत्तर प्रदेश में यशस्वी प्रधानमंत्री श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी के विजन के अनुरूप माननीय मुख्यमंत्री योगी आदित्यनाथ जी के नेतृत्व में आयोजित हो रहे ग्लोबल इन्वेस्टर्स समिट 2023 में आपका स्वागत है। 20 देशों के 10,000 से अधिक विजनरी बिजनेस लीडर्स के इस अंतर्राष्ट्रीय निवेशक महाकुंभ में गवर्नमेंट टू बिजनेस मीटिंग्स और रिकॉर्ड MOU होंगे। आइए 10 से 12 फरवरी को लखनऊ में नए भारत के ग्रोथ इंजन की स्पीड का हिस्सा बने, उत्तर प्रदेश में निवेश करें। नए भारत का ग्रोथ इंजन।
When it all began, I had only a few runs on the scoreboard and fewer spectators in the stands. And then what? I worked harder, a few more runs, and a few more spectators. And that's how from Saurav, I became. When you live up to expectations, then winning people's trust is possible. And trust results in Bandhan, like Bandhan Bank, India's fastest growing bank. Bandhan Bank, aapka bhala, sabki bhalai.
Welcome back to the show, and it's time to really discuss the budget impact on one asset class, which is part equity, part fixed income, REITs as well as InVITs, which have really gained prominence over the last few years. Now, as the budget proposes from the next financial year, which is 1st April 2023, well, all distribution of income as repayment of debt now is made taxable. What does it really mean for the industry, as well as what is the clarity on that? Let's find out from one of the industry experts. Harsha, the CEO of India Grid Trust, which is a listed InVIT, joins us now on the show. Harsh, always a pleasure to welcome you on CNBC TV18. First, help us understand, what does this really mean, and are a lot of REITs and InVITs really structured in debt repayment when it comes to the cash distribution, and how does it impact the industry? Is it adverse?
I think it does have an adverse impact on the industry for sure. Repayment of capital is a usual part of the business. It's like depreciation getting paid back to unit holders, and that's how the InVITs and REITs perform, of entire cash flow being passed to unit holders, and they're obligated to do it under SEBI regulations. Now, if that gets taxed, it's certainly an adverse reaction to the industry, and I do believe we'll all seek clarification, but there's certainly adverse impact.
All right. So when we are talking about the implementation of this tax, Harsh, how will it be now calculated, and what will be the exact material impact? Can you help us with that? And do we have all the clarifications in terms of computing that tax component now?
We unfortunately do not have clarity, and the language that is mentioned in the memo is not really very clear about it. And that's something which is throwing confusion. At one end, it specifies the rationale that yes, there is no rationale of having zero level tax at the SPV and in the hands of unit holders, which is fair. However, on the other side of the regulation, it speaks about if it is paid out of redemption of unit, in that scenario, it is going to be adjusted from cost of acquisition, which is what most of us are doing right now. Now, it is giving a confusing message because if you redeem a unit, there's nothing like a part redemption. But I think industry would need clarification with this regards, because neither the intention nor the implementation is clear in the Act as it is spelled out right now.
All right, so that is one clarification which is sought, but what my understanding has been is that only the cash distribution component, which is essentially an income to companies like yours and then not being taxed as because it falls under the debt repayment category, is getting taxed in the hands of the unit holders because it needs to be taxed somewhere. Dual non-taxation is what the finance ministry is trying to plug here. So that's the basic understanding. But let's talk about your company. It's a listed InVIT, Harsh. How does it stand to really get impacted? What will be your impact on cash distribution now, the tax component on unit holders, and what portion of your distribution really goes as part of debt repayment, which will now be taxable?
In IndiGrade, it's we're not materially or other, we're not impacted at all. We have over the last 5 years, or almost 6 years, we have just distributed about 5 rupees of distribution as a capital repayment, and that rate is not increasing. So it's going to be very limited, half a rupee or rupee annually that we have distributed as capital. So I don't see that impacting IndiGrade per se in a material manner, because we have been distributing very, very limited amount, and that is different for each REIT and InVIT because the capital structure is different for each REIT and InVIT. For us, the impact is almost negligible as a listed entity.
Right.
But
yeah.
Need clarification because we still need to be complied with the law and how it's going to be implemented.
All right. So as per the numbers that I have, Harsh, right now, some of the REITs and InVITs have devolved as much as even 90% and 80% of their total cash distribution in the form of debt repayment, while yours is in early double figures at the moment is what I have. But one important clarification, that the ones who have structured their entire cash distribution component heavily based on debt repayment, how big a task will it be to restructure it? Will it be a tall task, and can this be done easily? What is your sense on that?
I think it's extremely difficult to unwind the capital structure under Companies Act. It's not that something can be converted to other instruments just like that. And then therefore it's worrisome because, again, conceptually, nobody is saying there should be zero level tax, but debt repayment has never been taxed. It's like asking banks that when you get a principal back, you're going to be taxed. So it's conceptual clarity is needed on what are we trying to tax exactly.
All right, Harsh, a lot of clarity really coming in from you, but we'll wait for some of those confusion and clarification sought from the ministry also as the budget gets digested. And for the benefit of our viewers, some of the REITs and InVITs do devolve a large part of their distribution, which is 90% of the income, cash income needs to be really distributed amongst the unit holders. And some of them have 80 to 90% as debt repayment, which is now going to be taxable, making it less attractive. With that, it's time for a break. More on the markets on the other side. Stay tuned.
टेंशन किस बात की? सेंचुरी MDF का लो एमिशन प्रीमियम प्लस है ना, हायर डेंसिटी है, वाटर रेजिस्टेंट भी है, यानी ये है जहां नो टेंशन वहां।
Low Emission Premium Plus by Century ProWood. Invest once and enjoy guaranteed maturity with life cover with LIC's Dhan Varsha, a single premium plan for your family's security and prosperity.
When challenges put you off, you put life back on, full on.
Life on with Live life now full on.
Begin your journey towards a healthy tomorrow with Omron today.
Grow your business in partnership with Meta and Startup Street.
We were really able to grow up because of Facebook. So in the early days when we didn't have Facebook as our advertisement channel, we were, I think we were at about 100 businesses and today we are at about 35,000 businesses. And I think more than 50% of that is contributed by Facebook advertisements. When I say Facebook, I mean Facebook and Instagram both. And even channels outside Facebook, but which are subsidiary to Facebook, which basically contribute, which basically take feed ads from Facebook. Broadly, I think how we today run our sales funnel is that we get our leads from different platforms. Facebook contributing about 50% of the leads. Our inside sales team calls up the people and then gives them a demo.
Grow your business in partnership with Meta and Startup Street. The biggest budget exclusive. FM's first post-budget interview to a private news network. What does the budget mean for the investor, the consumer, the taxpayer, the economy? FM Nirmala Sitharaman speaks to Network 18 Editor-in-Chief Rahul Joshi. The FM interview, live and exclusive.
Co-presented by LIC, हर पल आपके साथ. Driven by XUV 400, we fun, we fast, we electric. Co-powered by Panasonic, create today, enrich tomorrow. In association with Bandhan Bank, आपका भला, सबकी भलाई. Knowledge partner, Grant Thornton, Bharat.
When timeless European design meets cutting-edge technology, it's QO. QO, European Bath Lounges.
When our big boss was MD, he used to take care of us.
And our Prince Sahab is busy ensuring his family. Oh, big boss, you?
He's busy obtaining term insurance for his family. After all, office is also our family. Am I right?
Let's close the deal.
Thank you.
Verma ji, will you have tea with this prince?
LIC's Group Term Assurance Plan takes care of your office family.
When it comes to making your drive electric, never settle for the ordinary. Go EV with India's #1 EV, Nexon EV. Proven and trusted by over 40,000 customers. Feature loaded and safe. Offering a premium driving experience. Now with enhanced range and an exciting new price. Nexon EV. Drive what drove India electric.
Welcome back. We've been tracking the markets. The Nifty is now up 75 points, closing in on that 17,700 mark. The top gainer on the index, however, is Titan. Reported a weakest set of numbers, especially on the margin front yesterday. But the management commentary was rather positive. They said demand in January actually picked up, and they are, targeting almost 10% market share in 2027 itself from mid-single digits where they are right now. So from a long-term standpoint, people do believe that the case for Titan makes sense. At the same time, we had seen a 15% decline from the top on those shares. So maybe some room easing out for valuations as well. And that explains why the stock is up 5% as we speak. Let's hear out what Ashok Sonthalia, who is the CFO of the company, said to us.
So we continue to see traction of getting new customers to our jewelry segment, and that gives us confidence that all these new customers, part of it definitely coming from competition to us. Typical industry long-term growth, if you bake that in, we believe by FY27 our market share should be 10%. Other categories are also growing pretty well for us. So sometimes these numbers become outcomes. So in absolute value, studded is of course growing, but in 3-4 years horizon, I definitely think that studded can inch up from its current contribution to our revenue. It should go towards 30%.
Okay, so that's on Titan. A lot of the brokerages are positive on the future demand trends that Titan has alluded to. Before we take a short break, there is some update coming in from Fitch Ratings, where they have indicated there's no immediate impact on the rated Adani Group company's credit as of now. So that's an important clarification to keep in mind coming in from Fitch at this point. But remember, let's see whether there's any kind of intraday respite on the back of any kind of statements coming in from the likes of credit agencies such as Fitch. As of now, the likes of Adani Enterprises continues to reel under pressure, down 13.5%. Time for a short break. We'll get you more on the markets and a lot of stock-specific action on the other side. Stay tuned.
चीज़ डोसा, मसाला डोसा, पेपर सादा डोसा, रोटी, बटर नान, कुलचा, वेज कढ़ाई, वेज कोला, स्टीम राइस, जीरा राइस, फ्राइड राइस।
भैया और कोई ऑप्शन?
अन्ना
लाइफ में और कहीं ऑप्शंस मिले ना मिले, मोतीलाल ओसवाल आपको देता है ऑप्शंस ट्रेडिंग में ऑप्शंस। इंट्रोड्यूसिंग मोतीलाल ओसवाल ऑप्शन स्टोर विद अ वाइड रेंज ऑफ ऑप्शंस इन ऑप्शंस ट्रेडिंग। एक्सप्लोर करो ऑप्शन स्टोर। Investment in securities market is subject to market risks. Read all the related documents carefully before investing.
Everything we know is at risk. The time to act is now. We must all be champions. Champions for the earth.
आग को फैलने से रोकना मुश्किल है पर नामुमकिन नहीं। अब फायरवॉल टेक्नोलॉजी के साथ सेंचुरी प्लाई क्लब प्राइम आग से बचाए।
अपने घर और कमर्शियल स्पेसेस को बनाइए अल्ट्रा मॉडर्न, इनोवेटिव, इको फ्रेंडली विद क्विक इंस्टॉलेशन। All this at the one-stop destination, Europatik.
The biggest budget exclusive. FM's first post-budget interview to a private news network. What does the budget mean for the investor, the consumer, the taxpayer, the economy? FM Nirmala Sitharaman speaks to Network 18 Editor-in-Chief Rahul Joshi. The FM interview, live and exclusive.
Co-presented by LIC, हर पल आपके साथ. Driven by XUV 400, we fun, we fast, we electric. Co-powered by Panasonic, create today, enrich tomorrow. In association with Bandhan Bank, आपका भला, सबकी भलाई. Knowledge partner, Grant Thornton, Bharat.
Friends, I want to share some good news with all of you. Firstly, like always, we have performed very well this time also.
But what will we get?
Secondly, we shall invest in employee benefit.
Come on, now tell us what will we get?
And thirdly, we shall invest in LIC's group funded plans.
Great, we'll get everything. Now, leave encashment, gratuity, and along with pension, our future is secure.
Yes, employees' real benefit lies in LIC pension and group scheme.
रेणु, लोन हो गया। बस अब सिर्फ मार्जिन अमाउंट का सवाल है।
यूनियन बैंक से गोल्ड लोन लेकर होम लोन के मार्जिन अमाउंट का पेमेंट कर सकते हैं हम।
एक मिनट, तुम्हें कैसे पता? मैं यूनियन बैंक से ही होम लोन ले रहा हूँ।
पापा, हम अपने नए घर में कैसे रहेंगे?
अपनी नई कार में।
और ये कार लोन भी यूनियन बैंक ऑफ इंडिया से?
हाँ, अब घर और कार का सुनहरा सपना साकार।
यूनियन बैंक ऑफ इंडिया, अच्छे लोग, अच्छा बैंक।
When it comes to making your drive electric, never settle for the ordinary. Go EV with India's #1 EV, Nexon EV. Proven and trusted by over 40,000 customers. Feature loaded and safe, offering a premium driving experience. Now with enhanced range and an exciting new price. Nexon EV. Drive what drove India electric.
देखो देखो देखो, नया टीवी देखो। Ah, got the veggies from Chotu's shop? He gives the right rate.
Yes, Papa.
Decided. 55-inch TV on this wall.
Oh, super. I'll write out the check tomorrow.
No, you don't. I will, with my own money.
Oh, wow. How come?
Look at this advertisement. 30% assured returns on investment. I am also going to invest my money.
So vegetables only from Chotu's shop, but investment advice from anyone? Papa, trusting a stranger's advice is never wise.
But what about the TV?
सोच कर समझ कर इन्वेस्ट कर।
Welcome back. Well, we have a couple of numbers on your screen. So Zydus Life has come out with an EBITDA growth of around 27% on a year-on-year basis. So US sales have also grown quite significantly. It's up around 17% on a year-on-year basis. Remember that the US business in Q2 was at around $214 million. So it has done better on a Q-on-Q basis as well. Remember that the US had a very bad flu season. So a lot of companies benefited from selling anti-flu drugs in this quarter particularly. The revenue also better than expectations at around 4,300 odd crores versus expectations of around 4,69 odd crores. That's the EBITDA figure for you. So overall, it seems to be a beat on the revenue. The margins seem to be in line for Zydus Life, as you can see on your screen. And there is a growth which has taken place on a Q-on-Q basis in the US business as well. Just want to point out, if you're talking about pharmaceuticals, Divi's Labs is going to be releasing its numbers anytime soon because its conference call is slated for 2 p.m. this afternoon. And in fact, it is seeing a little bit of pressure ahead of it. In fact, it's the top loser on the Nifty after the Adani stocks at this point. So we have Divi's Labs, which is down around 2.7%, close to the low point of the day. Remember that a Q-on-Q recovery in terms of margins will be extremely critical for Divi's Labs this time, because last quarter it had fallen to a multi-quarter low. So whether or not they manage to recover sequentially will be something that the street would watch. We take a short break. On the other side, Manisha Gupta will be with us to take us to what she's tracking in the commodity space.
Bertram, meet Hector, the car that pampers me.
Pampers you, sir? Only a car.
Hello, MG. Good morning.
Good morning. What a beautiful day.
This is my favorite. Traffic jam assist. Ta-da!
Sir, please.
Relax. Hector's got this. Told you, it pampers me. The next-gen MG Hector. It's a human thing.
टेंशन किस बात की? सेंचुरी MDF का लो एमिशन प्रीमियम प्लस है ना, हायर डेंसिटी है, वाटर रेजिस्टेंट भी है, यानी ये है जहां नो टेंशन वहां।
Low emission premium plus by Century ProWood.
नवंबर 2022 में ग्लोबल इन्वेस्टर समिट की उद्घोषणा के साथ पटकथा लिखी गई उत्तर प्रदेश के विकास के नए अध्याय की। विश्व भर में रोड शो का आयोजन, 10,000 से ज्यादा डेलीगेट्स और 17 लाख करोड़ से अधिक के निवेश का लक्ष्य।
उत्तर प्रदेश की पहचान से आप भी गौरवान्वित होते होंगे। उत्तर प्रदेश के नाम पर मिल रहे सम्मान से हर व्यक्ति इस बात को कहता है कि हाँ, उत्तर प्रदेश ने कुछ नया किया है और करना चाहता है।
विश्व भर के निवेशकों के स्वागत के लिए तैयार है उत्तर प्रदेश ग्लोबल इन्वेस्टर समिट।
When challenges put you off, you put life back on, full on.
Life on with live life, now full on.
Begin your journey towards a healthy tomorrow with Omron today.
The biggest budget exclusive. FM's first post-budget interview to a private news network. What does the budget mean for the investor, the consumer, the taxpayer, the economy? FM Nirmala Sitharaman speaks to Network 18 Editor-in-Chief Rahul Joshi. The FM interview, live and exclusive.
Co-presented by LIC, हर पल आपके साथ. Driven by XUV 400, we fun, we fast, we electric. Co-powered by Panasonic, create today, enrich tomorrow. In association with Bandhan Bank, आपका भला, सबकी भलाई. Knowledge partner, Grant Thornton Bharat.
Meet the outstanding women who are changing the face of leadership in the world of finance.
The most important things, if you ask me, is the quality that you should have when you're wanting to do investments. And more than intellect, I would say it is the temperament.
Finally, how you reach your goals is actually more dependent on how well diversified you are across different asset classes.
People think that investing is about picking the hot dot and the hot stock. It's about picking the winners. Actually, it's about avoiding the losers.
The wealth creators who are shaping India's growth story. A mega initiative to make gender parity an attainable reality. HSBC presents CNBC-TV18 Future Female Forward, the Women's Collective.
Presented by HSBC. Knowledge partner, Deloitte. Industry partner, FICCI. Associate partner, Reliance Industries Limited.
When it comes to making your drive electric, never settle for the ordinary. Go EV with India's #1 EV, Nexon EV. Proven and trusted by over 40,000 customers. Feature loaded and safe, offering a premium driving experience. Now with enhanced range and an exciting new price. Nexon EV. Drive what drove India electric. Suresh.
Yes, brother.
Please take care of it, huh?
Sure, I'll do it.
Really? You're concerned for it even if you're going to the village for just 2 days. But you never think about us this way.
Everything will be fine. My Rickshaw Union Group has taken LIC's Group Micro-Term Assurance Plan. Papa! Wow! Now no matter what, my family will keep moving forward.
Get LIC's Group Micro-Term Assurance Plan. Keep your family secure.
Welcome back, and joining us on the show now is Mr. R.S. Sodhi. He's former MD at Amul and President of India Dairy Association. Mr. Sodhi, hi, thank you so much for joining us. Well, there has been a big allocation when you look at the animal husbandry, dairy, livestock, and a big thrust really on cooperatives as well during this budget. How do you look at the fund allocations, and would you say that the animal diseases for a crisis is something that the government is looking to tackle from this?
Animal husbandry, out of this 4,300, this time budget has been again multiplied. It's now 1,390 crore because of last year lumpy skin disease. I think this is a good budget allocation. Similarly, for the national livestock also, mission also 410 crore. So I think that has been given due emphasis. And I think what we want is some budget allocation, if not this year, next year, for white elevation 2. See what happened in mid-70s to mid-90s. By just 1,000 crore rupees, India became the self-reliant and world largest producer. And the same type of one-type investment in infrastructure. We are not asking for any subsidies in dairy. Both for cooperative and private sector, what we look for is more funds for infrastructure building. Right now, there is a interest subvention scheme under Dairy Infrastructure Fund and Animal Husbandry Fund. Both have been merged, but that is 3%. So more than that is required, some 10% to 20% incentive, like it was there in Operation Flood 1, 2, 3, when water revolution took place by Dr. Varghese Kundan. So that type of input is required.
Mr. Sodhi, also the government's push on tech and digital has been quite strong in the budget. And in the same breath, we've seen a lot of emphasis on natural farming and green growth. What's your take on that, and how would you look at the agriculture with the lens in that?
Yeah, especially for this green growth. I mean, Finance Minister mentioned the green growth. And I think if you go into the budget, it's whether in the rural sector or the urban sector or industry sector, lot of push has been given for the green growth. And for the, I think intentions have been good, but I believe more resources need to be allocated.
All right. We will look forward to that. But, you know, milk prices clearly is on top of mind, because in last 1 year, we've seen the milk prices being hiked many a times. And the latest one from Amul has happened in last 24 hours itself. What's your sense on further milk price hikes? Are we still in for that in 2023? What is the road ahead now suggesting?
Dairy sector, I can see as India versus world. Whereas, I mean, we lag around 6 to 9 months of what world trend is there. All over world, the dairy now prices have stabilized or started going down. But in India, I think till next Diwali, situation will be tight. I mean, demand and supply side will be tight. We will not be having surplus, and I don't see prices to go down. And input cost, which has increased over 20 to 30% compared to last year, I think it will stabilize with the good Rabi and then Kharif crop coming expectations. And input cost, fodder cost, dry fodder cost may decline in future, so cost of production for the milk may reduce. But till next Diwali, situation is tight.
Okay, thanks Manisha for that. Well, that's the conversation with Mr. Sodhi, but the big story which is breaking on your screen is the margins for Divi's Labs, which is coming at an absolutely disastrous 23.9%. The reason I'm saying that is this is probably the biggest fall that we've seen in the EBITDA for Divi's Labs this time round. Remember that we had an inkling that the margins were going to decline last quarter. It had already come in at a multi-quarter low of around 33%. The worst estimates was maybe around 30% on the street this quarter. So nobody was expecting a margin decline to come through to such a sharp level of around 23.9%. So that's the big headline for Divi's Labs, that the margins have seen further deceleration. It is probably a multi-quarter low or a historical low that you've seen in terms of the margins for Divi's Labs. It has been known for 40% plus margins at one point in time. So as you can see, it's a complete slide in terms of the stock. It slipped below 3,000 rupees at this point in time. Remember, it's corrected around 30% plus from its 52-week high. So the street was anticipating that they have lost a lot in terms of the COVID-19 drug supplies that they were doing, or the API supplies in the past couple of quarters. Nobody was expecting such a drastic fall, at least in terms of the margins, even with the business normalizing. So it is probably US price pressure with the fact that there are key COVID-19 drugs which they're not supplying anymore, which has hit their numbers quite hard. EBITDA is down 60% on a year-on-year basis. EBITDA margin has come in at 23.9%. A quarterly analysis of the numbers is also very important, because that will give you a deceleration of the margin picture as well. It came in at around 32 to 33% last quarter. Expectations were around 32 to 33% this quarter, and it's come in at 23.9%. Revenue, 1,700 odd crores. So the problem really isn't in the revenue, because the revenue decline is, the estimations were around 29%. They've come in at around a 31% decline on a year-on-year basis. The key big problem for Divi's, as you can see on the stock as well, has been unequivocally the operating performance and the margins for the company. Net profit down 66%. That too has missed estimates by a huge margin, simply because of the operating pressure that you've seen for the particular company this quarter. We do have the conference call at 2 p.m. We'll try and get more reactions with regards to the Divi's numbers, but that stock now down around 8.5%. With that, it's a wrap on Halftime Report. Business Lunch will come up next.